I just don't have any opening music right now, so I'm just making it up stuff. So, you know, I didn't feel like actually going through the process of actually having to go through iMovie and then having to like make like opening scene and stuff like that. So I just felt like doing something simple like that. So, anyways, Ted here with Bodies and Wicks. Bodies and Wicks. How y'all doing today? How you doing this weekend? It's been a great, fabulous weekend. We have had some great stuff happening in of course, a crypto space world. We've had some, we got Ethereum, not Ether, but Ethereum, at a new all-time high again. It's kind of back down since then. But at least it did grow a little bit of more of a set of, balls, I guess you could say, and jump up a little bit more, but it's been falling a little backwards since then. So maybe that's healthy, maybe that's what's needed for it to continue going forward. I've heard some rumors as to why it could be doing that, but who cares? As long it broke a new record, right? It broke a new record already. It's probably gonna break another one. It just needs a little momentum, and then we'll get going. But what today's video is going to be about the top 10 altcoins that you've probably been hearing of, and you may have not been hearing of. I don't really know, but I've taken a look at a lot of different altcoins, and I am basing these solely 100% on technicals, not on anything else. Not on what their fundamental process is, not what they're meant to be for, not what their project is, not anything like that. I am looking at this simply at a price perspective, and looking at this and going, okay, this has potential, right? Because I am a technical trader. And because I am a technical trader, I treat everything as such. So, should we jump into the top 10? And these are in no particular order, by the way. I am just going to just jump into these. And, I have them kind of like put down in like a row. But in no particular, no way is this like a 1 through 10 type thing. So, let's just go ahead and jump into the top 10 of this list. And screw you, YouTube, for saying that I'm not receiving enough video, because I know it's receiving enough video. It's probably just because of my really crazy opening is what it is. But here we go. Now it's gonna probably change, because the opening scene is done with. There's no more flashing stuff. And number 1, here we go. We have Mana. Mana, I think, is on the right path. So first I'm gonna jump into the 4-hour and probably break this down into a 15-minute type thing. All right, so as you can see, back in early January, or not early January, January 21st, not too wee long ago, it jumped up to a price to about 22. Came down, kind of, leveled off for a little bit, and then now here recently we can see that it has had this price swing. So now, as we look at all of it, right, since Mana's inception, I guess of mid-December, it has basically kind of done this same thing, over and over again, which to me is a good signal, right? If it's continuing to grow, right, and it jumps down and then it comes back up, it comes back down. And from my understanding, Mana is going to be a stake coin, if I am not mistaken. That was meant to be a good joke, wasn't it? While we're here, why don't we put on some good tunes, you know? Why don't we put on some tunes for the folks at home, right? Who are sitting here doing nothing and need something to listen to. So let's just throw on some little tunes here. All right, there about that. Does that sound good? All right, sounds good to me. Don't worry, this is all licensed and paid for. I'm paying for this. It's all good. Um, Anyways, sorry, I'm just getting off track here. Mana, I do believe is one of those. Here, let me go and find coin list here, and I'm using Gate.io for my coin list, and I usually use this to jump. I usually use it to try to find. Well, that's even if it's even covered by Gate.io, and I'm not even sure if Mana is. I do believe it is. Yes, here it is, and we can kind of see what it's used for, possibly. Do source code, and of course, well, it just does it every once in a while. Source code, and maybe not. Maybe it doesn't want me to know the source code, or maybe website. I'm not gonna do this for every single one because I don't want this to be a super long video. Of course, it doesn't let me do that. Etherscan, let me see here. Essential land, Mana. All right. Like we have a ton of pending of transactions that are happening right now, or at least a couple minutes ago, and I think the last time I did see this on Etherscan, or it was what was it? Hold on, I can find you the website in just a second. Up this thing. There we go. Explorer, there we go. Explorer, this is a new website that I have found that's basically for any kind of Ethereum token. You can basically find it on Explorer, and why should we not check out Mana Decentraland? I think you said it was did it say it was an NFT? Yep, tags, NFT. That's interesting. NFTs I know are going to be a thing that's going to be on the rise. A lot of people are looking for NFTs, creating their own NFTs. Virtual world that runs on open standards is the disclaimer. Ooh, all right. So that's what it means. And these, by the way, this list that I'm giving you is a very, very cheap list. These are ones that are on the rise that are coming at a very, very low price. So I'm hoping that you can get in them now or sooner than later, before they pop out of nowhere and you are able longer to get them for a cheap price. So looks like we got here 26 cents. I personally got into this at about 18.50. So I am glad to see that it is on the rise. Within the last 100 days or 30 days, it has been up almost 100%. 7 days up 65%, 24 hours up 30%. Now that is quite astonishing. See that over the last 24 hours. And even when I look at this, and you know, like I said, this is a 4-hour plot here. Whenever I get into the 15 minutes of it here on TradingView, right, this it has the potential of having a huge spike up, right, and then coming back down, and a huge spike up and then coming down. And what that's telling me is that there's definitely probably some either some institutional stuff at play, or some people with a lot of money at play. Now, I also have this newly found thingamajig, I guess you could say, or not thingamajig. What's the word I'm looking for here? Your indicators. That's the word I'm looking for. Indicators. Their new indicator here. We have what is called the whale indicator, right? So it'll let you know if there are whales in the room and where they are at and what they are doing. So there is this whale indicator, and there's another whale indicator that I found, and I not for sure exactly what to do with it. It's actually the bigger one. It's called the whale trading system. Supposedly, I guess it has a way of, I'm not for sure how to read it, but I guess you know, it tells you when to buy, when to hold a little bit, when to buy, when to hold off, you know, those kind of things, for whenever whales are in the room, or whenever to whale yourself. I guess I don't really know or understand this whale trading system. Bar color, let's see your buy color on. It doesn't really matter if your bar color is off or on. But you can also set if it's being overbought or oversold. That way, you know, you can kind of refine and you know, try to get in before, I guess, before the rest of the crowd does. You want to set it for 79, you know, that way you can get in there, you know, one step before the whale starts to take a dump on it. So as you can see, it's rising from green here all the way down to red. But it does coincide with the other whale one I have. Now the other whale one I have, you can set the percentage change. Now when I started off, it starts off at 2.618, and it says the momentum length is 20. Right? So this is what it would normally look like, which is way too much for me, right? So of course all of this is too much for me on one chart. I am not a person that likes indicators whatsoever, but I do like trying to find something that tells me that there's somebody in the room that has a lot of money trying to push price around. That being said, I don't really care for the whale trading system. I don't really care for it. I really don't. I'm gonna turn it off. What I do like is this other one that I found. Let me see what it was called. And now you probably have to have the paid trading view for this, which I do. I have the Pro Plus trading view. I got the 1 year subscription for it. For the 1 year subscription for it, I think it was only $150, right? So I think it wasn't even that much, you know. So it's really worth it for you to go to TradingView. I wouldn't get the highest package unless you're one of those really expensive traders that'll trade on like the 10-second you know, chart, and you know, and that can afford $10,000, you know, that'll for something that'll move, you know, a price of a couple, you know, a little bit of a difference. But if you're like most of us, who's just trying to throw in, you know, little bits here and there, $100, $200, you know, $20, it doesn't matter, kind of, you know, dollar cost average, you know, maybe that kind of thing isn't for you. But the trading plus definitely is. But then again, like I said, this 2.618% is a little bit too much. Now it may work for like Bitcoin, right? Because then 2.618% is kind of a huge difference in price, right? So what I like to do is I like to try to take not so much the volume, but kind of like I'm trying to find a good way to find a good way to see, you know, which way you would find a whale in the room, depending on which crypto that you have. Generally, I find 5% and the period of 5 to be about the best one, right? Because I'll definitely let you know if something's happening, and you know what kind of whatever it is that's happening. So even if we're on the 15-minute with Mana, here we go. We have an 8.4% jump here, right? So that's definitely causing something, and then you also have it on the way down. So the funny thing is that when it pushes it down, where does it push it to, right? That's the question. That's what I always look for, because whenever it's pushing it down and you have this much money, it has to be pushing it down to somewhere where it's going to be able to make money from, right? So it's pushing it down for a reason, because these same people that are pushing it down are the same people that are buying it, right? Or else they wouldn't be pushing it down, unless they're just trying to get rid of it, which I don't think they're trying to do at something that's 21 cents that you know is going to be going up and up and up and up like this one is. Like I said, I bought it at 18.5, which was back here a couple days ago, maybe. Yeah, somewhere around here, probably around 5th February. So that would have been yesterday. Whenever I was noticing that it was just it just seemed to be having, it seemed to be climbing and climbing and climbing. So and then all of a sudden it started just going crazy. So I got in at a pretty good time, and I think Mana is going to be definitely one to watch out for. So keep that in mind. Again, watch out for this. Use this whale indicator. That way you can kind of tell if somebody is there pushing price around, and if so, which direction. And make sure you outline your because what it'll do is it'll put in the body of the candle, right? And you can change the body of the candle too. But the outside of the candle is going to tell you which direction that it is pushing it, or which candle it is pushing it on. So you can see here, you can see it's pushing it up and then pushing it down, right? So the well in the the well in the room is actually pushing it up and then also pushing it down at the same time, right? And here we have another big jump of 7.6%. So, but Mana holding strong, 26 cents. I would see that this would continue to move up. One of the tests I also use, and I'll be going through, I'm just kind of giving you an example as I'm for this one, as I'll be doing for the rest of them, right? I won't be going this extensive into the rest of them, but I'll be showing you kind of examples that I've been using to see if they pass the test or not, so 15-minute or so, if you go from top to bottom, something like this, it's going sideways, you use a Fibonacci, right? It goes all the way to the top, it drops down. If it doesn't, get lower than where it was, and it turns around and goes back up, that's a pass, right? So at least it didn't get lower than where it was before. It may have not broken a new high, but guess what? It could be on its way to breaking a new high, just as it did here. So here it makes a different high. So what I would do is I would then move my Fibonacci over and then switch it over to this high. Let me get this whale stuff out of the way. That way we can kind of see what's going on. And then move this Fibonacci up to over here, right? What does it do? It pulls back again, right? Gets below the 50%. Generally anything below 50% is considered a discount to any kind of institutional enterprise. So that's where they would be starting to buy, would be around that area, or at least that's what I have found in my studies. And there you go. You do the same thing again. It moved up, didn't get to a new high, but still again on its way to a new high. But even then, if you wanted to look at this and call this, hey, this is a small time high, here we have a little low, if it pulled back, did it come back and hit the 50%? Look, it did. Aha, there you go. It's still on its way up, and you can keep using this test throughout the entire time. Here you go, you have another high that you can see it's starting to pull back. Well, then what do? Pull it to the next lowest low. Did it pull back and hit the 50%? It did. Aha, it's going to keep buying. And you can keep doing this to see if to test it, to see if it's going to continue going on. The way to find out if it's going to go the other way is if it breaks the low. If it breaks the low, that's when you got to start looking for a new area to where you can possibly buy it, right? So with Mana or Decentraland, right now it's climbing its way. I mean, since we've been talking, you know, it was starting at like what, 25 cents, something like that. Now it's up to 27, almost 28. So like I said, this is one of the top 10 to watch, I think, to watch this week. And we'll see what happens, but Mana, mark that one off, right? So going on to number two. Don't know, I think there's two different, I think it's Quantum. I don't know if it's Quantum. Is it Quantum? I don't know, but I just know it's QTUM. This is the one I have been watching as well. You know, as far as technicals are concerned, it has been on a slow rise. Not a slow rise, even though it did have a big peak back here. But then again, this was back in August. I don't really know what caused the peak of this, but even then, ever since then, especially right around the November area, whenever everything else started pushing up, so did this. Now, here's what's interesting, right, is that even though it pushed up, right, and then it came back down and hit an area right over here to where it was almost as equal with the area to where it first took off in the first place. It took no time in bouncing off that and then moving back up and then moving right along. So that tells me this coin is actually ripe for, you know, it didn't come down here, you know, bounce and then hang around and then kind of drop off a little bit and then come back up, anything like that. No, this thing came down, bounced, and then moved, right? So to me, this thing is this coin, again, fairly cheap, around $4.16 right now. I think this is going to be one to watch this week. It is falling right now, not a problem, and the reason it's falling right now is because it just made a huge leap. It's going to happen, you know, and if we're going to use one of my tests, we can use it right now and see if it's going to turn around and buy, right, which it's probably going to do, right? So we use the low, we go to the high, right, take this go, magnet mode is on, boom, all right, gets below the 50%, fair enough. And what is it doing? It's retracting, it's retracing, because it probably should start buying, because in an institutional level, this should be buying. Now I have a candle that is marked out here. Why do I have that candle marked out? Let's check out the whale thing, why don't we? Boom. Right, so this candle right here was an interesting candle to me, because you had these huge candles that pushed all the way up, right, and it's just floating right along, and then boom, this candle pushes it down just about to the entry of this beginning candle, right? So it does that, and then boom, it moves upwards. Something tells me that this push down was also by the whale, right? This push down was also by the whale, so that way they could get a good push up, right? And they push down again, get back inside of this area here, right? Because look, that's where it goes to. Gets back down inside of this area here. So as if they were holding a short, let's say, you know, let's say they were trying to short this in the futures market. If they were trying to short it, and they held it for the entire time that it came down to this point, and they let go of that short, right, they lost no money. While at the same time, gaining all this momentum and gaining all of this. They dropped a bunch of money here, right? Shorted it, and then also bought it at the same time, and then probably longed it at the same time, and then waited and waited and waited, and then they probably made enough money to where they could drop it and then let go of the short, and then they'd be fine, and then bought it again, and that way it continued on upwards. So that right there, this whole move that just happened tells me there's institutions in the room that is watching this, right? And that want in this, right? I don't know what QDM is, right? Maybe I should probably do some digging. Again, I'm doing this all on technical, right? I'm just looking at technicals of these. I've been going through, CoinMarketCap, looking at different coins, and then going through and checking out technicals, and these are the ones that I find the most interesting, and the ones that I think are going to eventually be the ones that are probably going to keep pulling up on top. Sorry, I had frog voice there for a second, and definitely needed some Rockstar energy drink to help me out. That's what I'm being sponsored by today, by the way. Thank you, Rockstar, for sponsoring me and all my endeavors. But no, look at this right now. I mean, you can tell, like, if you put whale in the room, again, I have it above 5%, so any move that's pushing this above 5%. Again, look at this, this push all the way up, came back down, it's already retracing back up. So I would check out QDM, or I think it might be Quantum. Let me do, go here and do EUM. Sorry, I like to use Gate.io as my finder in things. Trying to figure out what it is. QDM is a high blockchain application. QDM's core. Okay, so it is QDM. It isn't Quantum. Quantum is another one. That's right. Quantum is like the more expensive. Okay. The QDM's core technology combines a fork of Bitcoin Core and enhanced of the Ethereum virtual machine (EVM) called QDM virtual machine (QVM). And proof of stake consensus aimed at industry use cases. Interesting. So market cap at about, what is that? 426 billion or million. Sorry, 426 million. So 426 million total coins, quite a lot. Supply is quite a lot, so that is why maybe the price is so low right now. This is going to be a stake coin from my understanding. It looks like Gate.io has added a lot of support for it. I love Gate.io, by the way. This is definitely my favorite exchange next to Kraken. Kraken has I loved Kraken, but don't get me wrong, Gate.io is definitely, it's more of an Asian-based one, but it's definitely awesome, especially if you get the phone app. It gives you like all these different messages, like letting you know, like if there's been like a huge like, hey, this jumped like 10% like just now, like maybe you should check it out, and so that's what's really cool about it. Yeah, it looks like QDM is definitely an interesting coin, and I think that's why there's been institutional interest in it, that's for sure. As you can see down here, I like to use this too. I think NVT means non something transaction. Not that's what it's called, NVT. evidently, I don't know what MVT stands for, but I used to have it on the tip of my tongue. Non-value or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, Qtum. There we go. Here we are, Qtum, $4.16. I think it's on the path to continue growing. We shall see what happens with that. Next one, 1inch. Right, so this is number 3. We're on number 3. So I went through Mana, I went through Qtum. Now we are on 1inch. 1inch, the same thing. I believe this is a stake coin. So stake coins are on the rise. People want to buy these coins so that way they can stake them that way for money. So it's becoming a completely different financial game out there, because like the way I see staking, right, is the way I see like a certificate of deposit. I don't know if anybody's watching, if you guys know what a certificate of deposit is. It's like an old way of banking, but it's basically staking is what it is, right? It's what now is what's called staking. You'd basically go to the bank and you would say, hey bank, I'm gonna put in X amount of dollars, $500, $2,000, $6,000. I'm gonna put in this much money, right, for you to hold, and then they would guarantee you a specific return on your investment as long as you didn't take any money out, right? And basically it was a way for your bank to hold your money, that way they could lend it out, and that way they could lend it out, and so in a way that way you didn't have to come to them and then ask for your money back, and then they didn't have your money because they lent it out. Basically the same thing, and the same thing is happening now in this new crypto world. It's amazing what is happening in crypto land, right? All right. Well, at first we just thought of Bitcoin, right, which was crypto gold. And now we're thinking of all these tokens that can do all these different things, and it is just amazing. But all right, let's get the technicals of 1inch. The reason I'm going with 1inch here, even though it did, make a high of almost $6.30, something like that. It didn't, but I'm doing this on the 15-minute. I should have been doing this on the 4-hour like I did. On the 4-hour, look at this thing. It's flying. It is flying. And if we do the test, right, that I was showing you, take this, go to the high, probably do this, right? This, and even then, take this, go to this high, right? Did it come back to the 50%? Yep, yes it did. And even then, we can probably still even use that as a low if we wanted to, and then pull this up here, use this as the high. Come on now. Did it come back to the 50%? Oh yeah, definitely it did. Came down into, again, you want to look for it in this kind of zone, for it to be a good buy, because again, that's once it's below the 50%, that's when it's considered a bargain, right? So then now it takes off again, boom, gets here, right? At this low, it would get there. Come on now, I may have to just a little bit. This, do a little bit of that, boom. Okay, here we go. We did not make the 50%, so this is what is starting to worry me about 1inch. But even though it got close, was that close enough? The question is, that was also a huge liquidity spike down, right? So that may have not have actually been the place to put the Fibonacci. This may have been more been the place to put the Fibonacci, right? Because honestly, if you think about it, if we do this, right, okay, let's do this test again, right? Go to the spike down, right? Go to this high. Still didn't make it. Still didn't quite make it. But then again, this is just a liquidity spike, right? This is just somebody. This is somebody going long, right? Right. And what the reason I like this, the reason why I'm saying I like this coin is because of things like this, right? Because of things like these liquidity spikes. Now, what this means is that there is somebody there is a ton of people probably in the room going long, right? Probably holding on to it, right? And they see it pull back, right? And you know, they're probably looking at something over here. Who knows exactly what they're looking at? But you know, they've been long since over here, you know, and they're holding it. Doesn't matter, they're holding it, but they got a stop loss. They're starting to move up. They're starting to slowly move up their stop losses, right? And they see it where it takes off, right? And where it takes off, they go, okay, this is where I'm going to put my stop loss. You know, is right here where it takes off, right? You see people do this stuff all the time, right? And, you know, it went down, boom, it takes off. And they go, okay, I'm going to put my stop loss at the body of this, right? You know, to protect my investment that I made, money I made. And you know, it goes up and it comes back down, and you're going, okay, well, at least, you know, and you see it kind of stop right here, right? And then start going up, and everybody start getting, oh, relief, oh, breath of relief, right? And then all of a sudden, whoo, swings right through that, and it takes that person out of that trade. So now what do they have to do? They have to re-enter the trade at a higher price, right? Taking them out of the trade that they were in here, you know, gaining all that momentum, right? You know, they may have made that money, but you know, they missed out on all of this that they could have made if they had taken profit here. Instead, they waited too long, right? And then the institutions came in and then knocked them out. So, and so now all those people that did that have less money to get into here. So now the institutions get in and then take control of it, right? So now this is where the institutions take control. And this is where I say this is very, very much so a technical way of looking at things. That's why this is the top ones to look at from a technical perspective, because this is what I'm seeing, right? And then you see it again here and here, right? Right, people are in this long, right? And you know, they're slowly putting their stop losses, right? And they're getting here. They see it goes down, right? So they see it go up, right? So then they probably put their stop loss somewhere around here, you know, and before it takes off. Again, boom, again, boom. It takes people out, takes off, and then same thing over and over and over again. So, you know, these are little examples I am giving of how they take people out of the market. And the same thing here, right? And this is the 4 hour here, right? So if they started down here, right? Came up to here, right? That 50% is just right around that area. Then again, that probably wouldn't even be it, because actually this would probably be it, because here is another red candle down before it takes off. Yeah, does it come down into the 50%? Yep, bargain buy. Also an area to where they probably took you know, some people out if they were trying to trade in that area. They're not trying to trade, but if they were, you know, moving their stop loss, you know, and maybe had a little bit too close, had it too close, boom, institution knocks them out. Same thing, moves up, comes back down. This is probably the same thing, right? They probably bought in here, they probably had their stop loss set right here. What does it do? Spikes through that stop loss, keeps on going. So 1 inch to me is definitely something that what's what I'm looking for. Institutions have been looking at, have their eye on, have, you know, been kind of taking, I wouldn't say taking control of, but definitely have some kind of influence in here. Right here we got the whale thing again, but let's use the whale, but let's use the percentage change to 2.618. Let's go with 5 and 5, and here you can see it already in this big massive block at the very end, right? So here they go, boom, they use it to push up, boom, they use it to push down, get a better price. I guarantee you right now it's probably going to be the best time to buy, right? You're gonna buy 1 inch right now, it's probably gonna be the best time to buy at 4.85, because it's probably gonna take off. We're probably not gonna see it again till it hits $7. Right, I'm not even kidding when I say $7, because look, we look at this, what I've got drawn out here, right? Where's the 1.62? $7. Right, so that's 1 inch. All right. Next one, IOTA. I don't know what it is about this one. It just definitely has. They for one thing, I do know they put a lot of their money. They didn't put a lot of it into their infrastructure. Instead, they put a lot of it into Bitcoin, which they shouldn't have done. But that being said, there's still something about IOTA that says there are institutions involved in this, especially since this week. And I'm on the 4 hour. If we get down to the 15-minute, you can definitely just see it. I don't know, I'm not for sure how to explain it, but here we take this, move this down to here. Okay, this definitely wasn't not it, because here we actually had this and move this down to here. It doesn't exactly hit the 50%, but it gets close. It gets close enough to where they probably would buy, right? So, well, actually, move it up, yeah. So, close enough to where that would probably be considered, you know, a buy on their end. So now, if we move it, push up the narrative, and you know, here is the next buy, right? Pushing it up. Yeah, again, doesn't exactly get to the 50%, but it's close enough to where, again, they could probably push it up. And here it just kind of takes off, because I'm not for sure, because I mean, I guess you do have here's where you gotta kind of get close in on these, see what's going on, right? Because if I'm going to put this level here, right, then say we put this here at this level, does it pull back enough to hit the 50%? Almost it does, right? But then at that pullback level again is where you want to put your bottom of it, right? And then you want to hit the top spike, right? Here we hit the top spike. Does it pull back enough? Sure does, right? Now we put that as the bottom. Now we got to find the next top. Next top is up here. Try to say here it doesn't pull back enough. Here, again, not exactly 50%. So, but still close enough to where people might consider it a bargain buy, right? Maybe people are trying to get ahead of it. That's the thing that that I'm seeing this in IOTA. People are not waiting for it to get down into this, right? They're not willing to wait for it to get down into that lower areas. They're wanting to buy it before it gets there, and it's still pushing up. So that tells me that there's something going on here. But now if we use the fib is my tool. I love the fib because you can just see it, everything basically. At least you can see the percentages of how far it pulls back and whatnot. That and my other tool is here, the date and price range, because you can do this in the date and price range. Move here, and so you can, I wasn't supposed to do that. I was supposed to actually go up all the way here. Right, so we can say for here to here, what happened? It took 4 hours and 45 minutes to go up 13%. That's actually pretty good, right? So that's one of the reasons, but another reason why I like that date and price range. That date and price range mixed with the Fibonacci is definitely something that will get you something. Okay, so now here we push all the way up, boom, comes back down. What does it do? Gets back into underneath the 50%, which is discount land, right? Doesn't make a new high, it makes a new low though, right? But it's still not getting down below the low of where our Fibonacci is. Now, if you wanted to move it here, you could have done that. It wouldn't have bothered me a bit. I like having this, and the reason I like having this is because this green candle right here, the huge candle, those are where I usually put my Fibonacci's. I usually put them at where you have a smaller red candle and then an engulfing green candle, and that's where I hit my Fibonacci's, right? So that being said, keep moving on. And where are we at now with it? Right, I'm just giving examples as we go along. So now let's say we go all the way up to the top here. Where we put our Fibonacci for this one? I'm gonna guess here, right? That was probably the last time we had a small red candle. Then the green candles probably overtook it. May not have been the first green candle, but definitely the third green candle, boom. Fourth green candle, boom. Fifth green candle, boom. All these. Base rocket, right? It's back up to the top. Right? Now, here's what I love about the pullback. What you can do, how you can see if it's going to try to sell a little bit, but maybe not all the way to the bottom. Flip it to that end point. You see it spike down, right? Put that as your top point, and then put your bottom point up as the top. Now see if it does the same thing. If it gets up underneath that 50%, more than likely it's going to sell. Now where it's going to sell to? It's going to sell past that 100, this point for here for sure, right? And as you can see, it got down past to 162%, right? Again, this would be for people that are trading futures, things like that, trying to figure out how to play the game. This would be how I would be doing it, right? But in technical world, I'm just trying to say, hey, these are the ones that has the technicals that I think are going to be going long for a while. So IOTA still passing the test, even though it's kind of pulled back a little bit. I think that's a good thing. I think it's because we've gotten to a good price range to where it is going to be a buy, and then after that we should see it start to move, right? Next one, Algorand. Algorand has been interesting, right? I gotta start moving along here because I'm moving fast, and I know what's it called, doesn't allow me to do more than an hour, and I've got about 10 minutes left, so I gotta hurry on these. Algorand. Algorand will be one, do the technicals yourself. I guess you could say 15 minutes. If we go down to the 15 minutes and we get in here into Algorand, you can definitely see the spikes trying to take out the people that are trying to use short trailing stop losses. Even though it did make a high up here, we didn't make a new high. We still haven't made a new low, right? So that is one thing good about Algorand, right? Let's see about the whale hunter, right? And whale hunter, get rid of other ones. Let's do a setting here, and let's do a 5% and momentum length 5. We have no whale hunter, so there's really no big huge person actually in here pushing this thing around, right? So if I put that to 3%, right, 3%, we have some people in the room, right? So 3%, not a whole lot, especially with something at 81 cents. So there still is a little bit of interest in the institutions. Not a whole lot. It's just been steadily on the decline, so that's why I favor Algorand. This is an interesting one, but Swissborg has definitely been an interesting one, and the reason I think it's interesting is because of this huge spike down here. It seems like it was going up and going up, and people were, well, this spike right here tried to take people out. People wanted to get back in, right? And they did, so they left it down here. They left their stop loss, you know, down here, made sure in case it came back down, and then all of a sudden, boom, stop loss. Institutions came back, took them out. I think this is all a huge institutional play to take out people that were trying to go long, and it's about ready to go long, right? 82 cents. This thing, I think, does have the potential for some reason. I don't know what it's for, but just seeing this institutional move here, it looks like a dinosaur skeleton's head, is a particular reason to go long on it, right? Of course, ADA. If you're not in Cardano, get in Cardano. This thing is gonna take off and take off soon. It passed the 15-minute test, but it doesn't pass the 4-hour test, which means I'm feeling that there could be a huge pullback sometime soon. I am not for sure, but get ready for it to pull back to around 50 cents or so, and then after that, put in all, I would say, go all in, and then hopefully we can see Cardano take off, right? Next one, AVAX or Avalanche. This is the most expensive one out of all of them, about $18, right? Again, just a good coin, I think. You can see, as you can see, from the 4-hour perspective, it just continues to grow and grow and grow. Every once in a while, you do see a big spike back. That being the institutions trying to take people out. They're trying to follow it with a close stop loss, right? So, Avalanche being one of those that you should be very wary of, right? I got about 7 minutes. I'm trying to hurry through these. I don't know why, but I think Celsius. You be careful of the Celsius token. It's got a crazy history. It kind of goes wacky, but recently it's these spikes down that I'm seeing. These huge spikes down. These are trying to take out people that are having a short stop loss and trying to take people out of trades. Right, that's what I look for. I kind of look for those kind of things. That tells me that there are institutions in the room, and those institutions are trying to take people out of the trades. Now, there are a couple that I couldn't find on TradingView that I'm going to go over. One, Pancake Swap. Pancake Swap, I think this is my number 10 of the top 10 cheapest altcoins that you should be looking for. Pancake Swap has been on the rise. I can't even tell you since when, but it's been since probably a couple days ago, and it just hasn't stopped. January 8th, it was at 57 cents. Now it is at $3.27. So it just continues to keep going up and up and up. I couldn't find anything on TradingView, but I did find enough on this coin that I did like it, and I think this is going to be a coin to watch coming up. And to, if you can find the exchange, I think it's BitMEX, if I'm not mistaken, that to where you can find this coin. Also SparkPoint. This is going to be an interesting coin. I started looking at the fundamentals of it. This has to do with gaming. This is a gaming token. I'm not exactly for sure exactly what it's for with the gaming community, but this is going to be an interesting token. Not even in the sense yet. So if you can find SparkPoint, my advice to you is to get in on this ASAP. This is going to be a very interesting token, and it's going to my understanding, this is going to be an outrageous, an outlandish token. But right now, it's hard to find it on any kind of exchange, just because it is so new. I mean, it does go back to November 2nd. But then again, I have been looking everywhere and I cannot find the Spark. I can't find it on Gate, because I know it goes under SRK. Yeah, or SPRK. Nothing. It's very difficult to find this token, and I'm not for sure where to find it, but if you can find it, please let me know. I would love to find this token and jump in it as soon as possible, because it is going to be, I think, a game changer, as it is one of the cheapest ones. So again, this went over at the top 10 of some of the cheapest tokens and that you're going to be able to find out there. So if you can find some of these, let me know. If not, you do what you can. But this has been Ted from Bodies and Wicks, going over everything and anything that I can with you over the top 10 altcoins. Before we head out, though, we still have a few minutes left. Let's do a couple things here. One thing I want to do is let's head back to those charts. Before this kicks us off, I am going to check out to see what is going on with Ethereum right now. We are at 1683 or 1622. I had 1683 as that kind of the halfway point of where it should stay above. If it gets below, we're in trouble. It does get below. There has been somebody that has told me that there has been a some kind of strategy to where people are trading out Ethereum for Cardano, and then whenever Ethereum gets strength, they're trading out their Cardano for Ethereum. It seems to be working because Cardano is going up tremendously and Ethereum has been falling. So but please, guys, do not destroy Ethereum. Don't destroy. We need Ethereum to grow and be, it just made a very good high. And then last but not least, I do want to check out Bitcoin, just because it did hit 41 before it came back down again. I think it's coming back down. It hit the halfway point of where it needed to, halfway point, but I mean by that, of hitting this right here, this what I call rejection block. Right before it was underneath it, this rejection block. Now it has come up. Some people call it support resistance. I don't call it support resistance. I call it a rejection block. The reason I call it a rejection block, not support resistance, because support and resistance changes. It's not a pipe fitter. It's not a one scenario fixes all